First up, aim assist. This thing helps direct you towards your target whenever you aim down sight. It does have a short range and it doesn't lock, so you still need to do a little bit of work to actually hit your target. Bolt action sniper firing mode. This only applies for bolt action snipers such as the Sentinel and Kraber. Tap to fire. When you have this selected, it doesn't matter if you tap the left or right fire button, you will always hip fire. Release to fire. This option changes the use of your right fire button. Whenever you hold the right fire button down, you will automatically go into ADS, and as soon as you lift that finger up, it will fire. Auto ADS when using a bolt action sniper. With this option turned on, whenever you aim down sight using a bolt action sniper rifle and you take a shot, as soon as your character finishes the bolt reloading animation, your character will automatically aim down sight again. Shotgun firing mode. Tap to fire. With this mode selected, it doesn't matter whether you use your right fire button or your left fire button to shoot with a shotgun, you will always hip fire and shoot immediately. Release to fire. Using the right fire button, you can press and hold it, and once you lift your finger off, it will shoot, but it will only be in hip fire. Hold to ADS, release to fire. Whenever you press and hold your right fire button, your shotgun will go into aim down sight, and as soon as you lift your finger up that button, it will fire. One tap ADS and fire. This option is specifically for the right fire button and all guns aside from shotguns and bolt action sniper rifles. This one actually has video examples, so I'm not going to go into too much details, but in short, if you have it set to off, you will always hip fire with the right fire button, and the rest, well, just check the videos out. Secondary fire button. By default, this is your left firing button, which is basically your hip fire button. It's actually pretty straightforward. Choose off, it will never be shown. Enable when ADS, it will only ever show up whenever you aim down sight. And off, off. ADS mode. Tap. Whenever you press this ADS button once, you will aim down sight and stay in aim down sight until you tap it again. Hold. Whenever you press and hold the ADS button, you will stay in ADS until you release your finger. Mix. This one's actually pretty cool. This one allows you to use the either tap or hold feature without having to go back into the menu. Quick throw. When switched on and say you're holding a gun, this feature allows you to press and hold your ordnance button and switch to that ordnance and go into aim mode straight away. And whenever you're ready to throw it, just lift that finger up the ordnance button and it will throw it for you. Scope mode. This one's for the third person perspective feature. Classic. Whenever you aim down sight, you will actually go into first person mode. Shoulder mode. Whenever you aim down sight, it will look like Fortnite. Hybrid. Whenever you aim down sight using this aim down sight button, you will go into first person mode, and whenever you tap and hold your right fire button, you will aim in shoulder mode. Gyroscope mode. This option basically lets you look around in the game by tilting your entire phone, and invert horizontal and vertical controls over here flips your horizontal and vertical turns respectively, meaning if you have invert vertical control on and you tilt your phone to look up, your character will look down. Auto firing. When switched on and you aim at an enemy, your weapon will automatically fire as soon as it finishes its 1.5 auto lock-on animation. Weapon auto cycle on empty. When switched on, as soon as your current weapon that you're shooting with completely runs out of ammo, it will automatically switch to your other weapon. ADS button rotates camera. When switched on, you can use your ADS button to look around by simply pressing and holding the ADS button and moving your finger around. Quick optic switch. When switched on, this button will pop up, and when you press this button, this mini window pops up. This mini window will have all the scopes that you have in your backpack. Then simply tap any of the scopes to quickly switch to it. Permanent melee display. When switched on, this button pops up. This button is basically a quick access for you to punch or kick enemies. Continuous throwing. When switched off, after you throw an ordnance, you will automatically go back to your last used weapon. When switched on, you'll stay in ordnance throwing mode for as long as you have ordnance in your backpack or you manually switch to your weapon. Tactical ability release method. This option is specifically for tactical abilities that requires you to aim. Classic. This allows you to press and hold your tactical button before you fire so you can aim. Quick. As soon as you lay a finger on your tactical button, it will shoot straight away. Ultimate use method. Exactly the same as your tactical ability release method, but for your ultimate. Auto open doors. Have it on, as soon as you get close to a door, the door will open automatically for you. Have it off, you'll have to manually open doors using this button. Ping button. When switched on, this ping button that is by default on the right hand side of your screen will be available for you to use. Double tap the screen to ping. When switched on, you can double tap any surface on your screen to ping. However, at the time of this video's release, this feature is actually not working, but that's what it's for. Map radar alert. When switched on, these indicators pop up on your minimap whenever you got an enemy nearby, such as gunshots or footsteps. Crosshair radar alert. This is basically exactly the same as map radar alert, but these icons pop up around your crosshair. Toggle between third person and first person. When switched on, this button pops up whenever you're playing in third person mode. Pressing it will allow you to switch from third person perspective and first person perspective. FPP and TPP FOV, short for first-person perspective field of view and third-person perspective field of view. FOV means in basic terms how much you can see in one single frame. Turn this all the way down, your vision becomes cramped. Turn it all the way up, your vision becomes super widescreen. Use the crouch button to rotate the camera. While you're pressing down on the crouch button and holding it down, you can move your finger around and your camera will turn. Use the jump button to rotate the camera. Exactly the same, but for the jump button. Climbing control mode. This option is in direct conjunction with joystick triggers auto run, which we'll cover in a second. Classic mode. When you start climbing a wall and you activate auto run, your character will only keep climbing automatically for about 1 second and then drop. Convenient mode. In convenient mode, as soon as your character starts climbing a wall and you trigger auto run, your character will keep climbing up until it reaches its max climbing height. Crouching controls. Very simple. Tap mode. Whenever you tap your crouch button, your character will crouch and it will stay in crouch position until you tap crouch again. Hold mode. To go and stay into crouch, you will need to press and hold your crouch button. As soon as you lift your finger off that button, your character will stand up. Joystick triggers auto run. See this button over here? That's the auto run feature. When switched on, this button will pop up whenever you start running. This feature basically locks your character on auto run. So what you gotta do is drag your left D-pad all the way up to this button to lock it, and once it's locked, your character will keep running forward until you pull that left D-pad back down to the center. Auto open chests. When switched on and you walk to one of these loot bins, it will automatically open for you. Auto ping items. When switched on, you will automatically ping high value items such as purple shields or phoenix kits. Auto ping enemies. When switched on and you point your crosshair at an enemy, you will automatically ping that enemy. Left ping button. When switched on, you will get this secondary ping button, which is by default on the left hand side of the screen. No difference to the right ping button, it's just you have a second button basically. Quick ping. This option determines how your right ping button works. Whenever you press and hold your ping button, this wheel window will open. When you have quick ping switched on, you will only have an option of 2 pings to use. And when you switch it off, this bigger wheel window will pop up that contains all the available ping for you to use. And this quick window ping option below gives you the option to choose 2 specific pings that you can use for this small quick ping window. Ability screen shake effect. When switched on, you will notice that whenever you use your tactical ability, your screen will shake for a little bit. It doesn't affect the animation of the skill itself, only the initial activation. Ping info opacity. Turn it all the way down, this main ping window will be barely visible. Turn it all the way up, it will be fully visible. Attachment backpack. When switched on, this window will pop up. Tapping this button will open this window. This quick window will have all the attachments that you have in your backpack, and by tapping one of these items, you can quickly throw it away. Smart healing item recommendation. When switched on, this window will pop up recommending you the best item to heal with based on the damage that you've taken. Toggle to use healing items. When switched on and you're choosing your healing item on this window, as soon as you tap that healing item, you will start healing straight away. Switch it off. When you tap that healing item, you will swap to that healing item, and you'll need to tap that healing item again to start the heal. Continuously use health items. Whenever you start using a syringe, you will keep using that syringe until you either run out of syringes in your backpack or you fully heal yourself. Continuously use shield battery, exactly the same way as continuously use health items. Vertical zipline interact button. When switched on, this button will pop up. This button is specifically for riding a vertical zipline upwards. Switch it off, this button merges with the button underneath it, so you'll need to look up or down to activate either going up or down the zip. Vertical zipline direction tips. Switch it on, these indicators will tell you whether you're going to be going up or down. Zipline button settings. Switch it off, these buttons completely disappear and you'll need to use your jump button to ride a zipline. Riding on zipline modes. This is specifically to do with your jump button. Switch it off, you cannot use your jump button to ride a zipline. Double tap. This option allows you to ride a zipline after pressing your jump button twice. So basically jump and then jump again and then you'll go on a zipline. Single tap. This one should have actually been called hold, because when you get near a zipline and you tap your jump button, you will jump. You won't actually ride it. But if you hold it and you're close enough to the zipline, you will ride that zipline. Direction when riding on vertical zipline. At the end of every single vertical zipline, there is a platform that your legend will jump off of automatically. And this option directly works in line with where that platform is. Orientation. In this clip right here is a vertical zipline. At the end of this vertical zipline, the platform is where I'm actually standing right now. So when I jump on to use this zipline, it will automatically spin me 180 degrees to look at where the platform is at the end of the zipline. Turning. It's basically the same as orientation, but a little bit more. When jumping on a zipline, it doesn't matter whether I'm looking up or down, it will reset me dead straight. Switch it off, your view doesn't turn at all. Allow left shoulder camera. This one's specifically for third-person perspective. This dictates which side of the screen your character is going to be standing on. Switch it off, your character will move to the left-hand side of the screen with the camera over the right shoulder. Select use, your character will move to the right-hand side of the screen with the camera over the left shoulder. Minimap rotation. Switch it on whenever you turn, so does your minimap. Switch it off, it doesn't move, meaning you can always tell whether it's north, east, south, west without having to use this compass. Enable autoplay for squad mates after going offline. I don't actually have a clip for this yet, but whenever one of your squad mates disconnects, a button will pop up underneath this team info window. I believe it will say autoplay, and once you click that, your teammate that's disconnected will turn into a bot and it will autoplay with you. Subtitles. Pretty self-explanatory. Switch it on. Whenever you hear a dialogue, you'll see subtitles popping up on your screen. Next, basic display settings. In basic terms, this is where you set how poopy or how pretty your game graphics looks. The options that you'll have in image quality and frame rate control will differ depending on the device that you have. So don't be alarmed if you don't have this many choices. The game automatically reads your phone and gives you the options based on what your phone might be able to handle. Frame rate control. This is how much frames per second you get during the game. Balance is 30, high is 40, ultra is 50, extremely high is 60 FPS. Then we go to graphic style. These are your filters. You have your classic, vivid, realistic, and soft. My recommendation, put it in vivid so the colors and assets are brighter. When you have it set to realistic and soft, the game will be super smooth, but this can also mean that your enemies will just blend in with your environment so you can barely see them. Non-standard screen UI adjustment. Turn it all the way up, your user interface gets cramped into the middle. Turn it all the way down, your user interface goes right to the end of your screen. Adaptive smoothing. Turn this on, the smoothing of the game will now be adaptive to the current refresh rate, and the game will select the highest refresh rate available based on the resolution of your phone. If you have a gaming phone specifically that fine-tunes your FPS rate and your refresh rate, turn this off. Dynamic shadows. Turn this on, you'll see in-game shadows for the legends. Turn it off, no shadows. Anti-aliasing. Turn this on, the game will smoothen the assets for you, including legends, loot bins, items, and doors. Basically all the textures in the game. If you have a low to mid-end device, I'd highly suggest turning this feature off because it uses a lot of your resources. Refraction quality. Right, this one's a little bit complicated, so pay attention. This option affects the quality of things like lighting when the light is within something else. For example, and this is just a pure example, if there was a light that is beaming through Bangalore smoke tactical ability, turning on refraction quality will determine the quality of that light beam itself. Switch it off. It is just such an unnecessary thing that eats up your processor. Character halo. No idea what this is. Switch it off so it doesn't use up any of your resources. Sound settings tab. Most of this thing is pretty much self-explanatory, so just mess around with it. However, there is a setting at the bottom where it says voice settings. Basically, whenever you connect a Bluetooth device to your phone, such as a gaming headset, and that headset has a built-in mic on it, this option allows you to use that. However, when you set this off, this forces you to use your phone's mic to communicate with your squad. Rotation mode. In short, this option determines how fast your screen turns depending on what you're doing to turn. Speed acceleration. In this mode, how much your screen turn depends on how fast you swipe your finger to turn. Distance acceleration. This determines how much you turn based on how far you drag your finger in one swipe. The further you drag your finger in one swipe, the more you turn. Fixed speed. It doesn't matter how fast or far you swipe your finger, your turning distance will always be fixed based on your camera sensitivity. Sensitivity adjustment. This option right here separates your camera sensitivity from firing sensitivity. When you have this switched on, it will split the two. Switch it off and your camera sensitivity becomes your camera sensitivity and firing sensitivity merged in one. However, I did test this during soft launch, but it doesn't seem to work as consistently. It does work, but when I get into a live game, it just messes my entire sensitivity up. But yeah, that's what it's for anyway. Overall sensitivity. These are basically just presets. As soon as you start changing your default sensitivities, this option will automatically be forced into custom. With that in mind, low, medium, and high have their own fixed sensitivities. FPP free camera focus. See this eyeball button over here? You can press and hold this button and then look around without having to actually turn your character itself. Switch this option off, the button disappears. TPP free camera focus, exactly the same as FPP, but for the third person mode. Free camera focus slider. This slider adjusts the sensitivity of how fast you look around whenever you're using the eyeball free camera button. Sensitivity acceleration. This slider affects the rotation mode sensitivity for the distance and speed acceleration options. Camera sensitivities. First of all, these sensitivities are only when you're not firing your gun. FPP without ADS aiming down sights. This is your sensitivity setting when you're not aiming down sight. You know, just running around normally. This one's for your first person perspective, this one's for your third person perspective. And these sensitivity options in the bottom corresponds with the type of scope that you've got equipped on your weapon. Ordnance sensitivity. This sensitivity setting kicks in as soon as you start holding an arc star, thermite, or a grenade. Legend throwing ability sensitivity. This sensitivity setting affects abilities where you have to throw things such as Caustic's toxic gas or Bangalore's ultimate ability. Firing sensitivity. sensitivity. These sensitivity settings kick in as soon as you start firing your gun. Gyroscope viewing sensitivity. Exactly the same as the camera sensitivity above, but these are the sensitivities that correspond whenever you've got gyroscope mode turned on and you're turning your phone around to look. Gyroscope firing sensitivity. Again, same as the standard firing sensitivity mechanics above, but for the gyroscope mode. Right, down to control settings. Screen settings. By tapping this custom layout button, this new screen pops up. Here is basically where you can rearrange all your buttons that are on your screen. Once you've made and saved the custom layout, you'll notice that on the top of the screen it says Battle Royale and Multiplayer mode. Let's say you've set your custom layout in Battle Royale. When you go into Multiplayer tab and you click custom layout, it will automatically ask you if you want to sync your button settings from Battle Royale into Multiplayer mode. Control mode. Let me simplify this quite quickly. You see these red areas over here? These are basically areas that when you swipe your finger on it, it will turn your camera left and right, up and down. Now, do you see these gray areas over here? When you swipe your finger on it, it will make your character walk forward, backwards, left or right. And these buttons here, well, they represent exactly what's pointed at them. Battle feedback tab. Damage numbers display mode. These are numbers that pop up on your screen whenever you deal damage to an enemy. Switch it off, no numbers pop up. Stacking. This mode adds up all the damage that you're dealing and shows them all as one total number. Floating. These numbers show the individual damage that you're dealing one after another. And both, you'll have the floating and stacking together. Personally, the less stuff on your screen, the better you can see your enemies. So I just have stacking on so I know the total damage that I've dealt. Battle info. This is another thing that I actually don't know what it's about. The community doesn't know what it is either. It's not a damage indicator, it's not the hit markers, it's not even the map radar notifications. Literally no one knows what it is. If you know what it is, please drop it in the comment section below. I'll pin it so everyone can see it. Damage crosshair. Another bunch of clutter that you really need to turn off. Target crosshair with shield icon. Every time you hit an enemy, this shield icon and this X crosshair icon will pop up. And that is also every time you hit an enemy with a single bullet. This shield icon is the most useless icon that pops up in this entire game. And let me tell you why. Even when you have damage crosshair set to off, this shield icon at the top will always pop up whenever you hit an enemy. So you will always know what shield your enemy is wearing even though this icon at the bottom doesn't pop up. And likewise, even when you have it set to off and you break an enemy shield, that shield breaking icon will still pop up. And lastly, target crosshair. See this white X mark over here? That pops up every single time you land a bullet on an enemy. This might seem helpful to tell you that you're actually hitting the enemy, but you don't need it. Trust me, you'll still know when you're hitting the enemy because you'll hear the sound effects and the blood splatter will always be there. This is something that you cannot turn off. So yeah, my recommendation, damage numbers display mode, stacking. Damage crosshair, off. Incoming damage feedback. These are visuals that pop up whenever you take damage. You can actually have all of these on, but I wouldn't if I were you. Right then, 2D icon. These are curved icons that pop up that basically just goes around your crosshair and they give you a decent idea of where the shots are coming from. 3D icon. These are arrows that pop up in the middle of the field. These pretty much tell you exactly where the shots came from. Edge tips. These are visuals that pop up all over your screen whenever you're taking damage and the color corresponds to the shield that you're wearing. Edge tips just makes it extra hard for you to see your surroundings, so definitely take it off. My recommendation, incoming damage feedback 3D icon only. Pickup settings. Auto pickup. In basic terms, the game automatically picks things up for you, but it does have a couple of small mechanics that you need to know. When you don't have a weapon yet, any weapon that you get close to, you will automatically pick it up. When you have 2 weapons equipped, you'll no longer auto pick weapons up. And that's for everything else, such as things like bullets and heals. You will automatically keep picking them up based on the settings that you have set down below, which we'll cover in a second. When pickup list is closed, stop auto pickup. What this means is when this window is up and you manually press X to close it, auto pickup will switch off until you manually open that window again. Hide pickup list during combat. Let's say you're looting and someone starts shooting at you or you start shooting at someone, this pickup box window will automatically disappear. Auto pickup interval. This decides how fast you loot between one item from another. Hold to toggle interval. This actually works alongside auto pickup. When you go to a loot box and you find a new weapon that you like and you want to switch weapons, you have to press and hold a new weapon to switch to it. This option decides how long you have to press and hold on that weapon to switch to it. And these option tabs in the bottom decides how much of the stuff you pick up until you stop automatically picking them up. And language and privacy and legal tab, they don't really affect the game, so if you want to read it, go ahead. And last but not the least, check out this insane video that's popping off right now.